Megatwan, what's good, man? He said he early, huh? We're gonna see who join up. I'll let a few of y'all join up first before I start running my mouth. Y'all already know how I do it. Shout out to you, Twine. What's good with you though, man? I'm feeling good. Let me know if you can hear me all right too. All right, we should be ready to go in a second. It's Sunday though, so some people at church, some people with the wife. I might not get that many of y'all on here. Don't matter. It's gonna be probably like a 30, 40 minute session, and then we'll go from there. Kelvin Hicks, what's up? He said we good. All right, we good. All right, we about to roll in a second. I'm gonna give a couple of y'all. It's like 10 of y'all in here. That's enough for me to really start this video. Y'all already know what I've been doing on Iceberg Q. What's up, man? B Rob, that's the name of my college roommate when I was 18, man. AKOYE, what's good? We hear you, bro. You good? Metrius Adams, what up? Jay Lombardi, what's good? What's good with you too, man? All right, yeah, it's like 10 of y'all in here. We good. Y'all already know I've been going hard for not only Zeke but just the team in general on Twitter, on YouTube, so on. And the question came up like, okay, so we know what you want to do, which is keep Zeke in a possible three-headed backfield type situation with both Tony, and a rookie because Tony's hurt and because I don't trust handing over the running responsibilities to a rookie. Um, they said, well, what would you do? That's what I would want to do. But I'm going to go over a few scenarios, a few players that could either outright replace them both if we were to not re-sign Tony, or if we couldn't come to a deal, or cut Zeke, or if we wind up keeping one or the other, or neither. Either one. So we're going to go through different players that fit perfectly with this scheme and what we're trying to do here, and guys that I think would, they might not be your normal picks. Obviously, Bijan Robinson is the main one, but might not be your normal picks or your ideal picks, but guys that I think based off the way they play might fit a three-headed scheme or might be able to just take over by themselves. We're gonna go over that. These boys just win. Is he going to make it to 26? I'd rather build a dominant O line. You meant Bijan. Would he make it to 26? I feel you, and I think you guys are right when it comes to the O line as well. So some of these guys are guys that you might get second or third, second day, late second day. So even if you went that route, you could still go high in the first round with an offensive lineman, which we'll get into as well. I'll go over 5 offensive linemen later that I think can change this team. But let's dig right in, man. Let me jump on and press play on here real quick. Boom. All right, we got Bijan Robinson coming up first, man, and he's a guy that I said was like more of a lone wolf. What's up, Stevie Mac? He's a guy that I say is more of a lone wolf due to the fact that Bijan is a guy that can play by himself. All the things that we like in Tony Pollard, all of the things that we like in Zeke Elliott, the power, whatever it is you're looking for in him, he can do a little bit of everything. He's a receiver like Tony. He got a little bit of power and good size to him at 6 foot, 220. So he's a guy that you can get in here and ask to be a home run hitter like we get from Tony, and a guy that you can get some power out of, like a young Zeke. So if there was a guy that I would say, if you just really didn't care, you're like, I'm either going to keep Zeke or Tony or neither, and you still wanted a top end running back, obviously that would be Bijan Robinson. Whether or not we get him though, would be another question. I doubt that he'll be there at 26, to be honest with you. But the idea that if he is, he can't get the job done would be rare. I think he's a guy that can get the job done and do what we want him to do. And I'm not crazy, man. I'm not one of those guys that's saying like, hey, man, in no way should you not draft and try to find an eventual replacement for Zeke. I mean, I think that's obvious. We're going to do that. And if we are to do that, like I said, a guy like Bijan Robinson gives me, he's just a guy that just makes me look at it like, okay, I would be happy with a gadget like that because you could do a little bit of everything. I would still want to couple him with someone that can save him some trouble down the line, because we don't want to have this issue that we have with Zeke moving forward, due to the fact that I think it's a little choppy too. I don't know how fast the video is to y'all. Let me know if it looks like it's a little slow. It looks slow to me, but it might be my graphics card. I don't know. But anyway, if he was a guy that we want to keep longer, I wouldn't want to come into this problem or run into this problem, like you said. Can he make it to 26? I wouldn't want to run into this problem down the line where we're trying to get a replacement for him or we're trying to pay him crazy money. So I'm into drafting and having guys that are, in my opinion, sharing the backfield with somebody else. Y'all saying it's choppy. All right, hold on a second. Let me try to fix that real quick, and then we go from there. I might have to minimize this screen a little bit. Hold on a second. How can I do that? How can I do that? Is it choppy here? Still choppy now? Still choppy? Okay, hold on a second. We might have to change something. All right, maybe this will work a little bit better for you. What about now? Moving better now? It was probably because the screen was, the graphics from the screen being so big, that might have messed things up. Let me see. Let me know if it's moving better now, and then I'll keep going with the convo. All right, bet. All right, bet. Cool. Yeah, we just can't get it blown up because I'm running both screens. So if I run both screens, it's gonna chop down. I don't know why. Maybe my graphics card. I'm not sure. But yeah, Bijan's a guy. Like I said, you guys see the stats, man. I mean, the highlights. We already know what he is. You said who said that the only person that he would want would be Gibbs? Let me see. I didn't even look at Wagner, so I gotta check Wagner out. Brooklyn Joe. That's a good idea. I just looked at the guys that were top ranked with PFF, and then I looked at the sizes and different styles of play that I thought would play well with what we're doing. Um, Sean Birch said Gibbs is the only back I will want on this team at 26. To me, and that's what I put in this film. Gibbs is he's a TP clone to me. He's a guy that's a lot like Tony Pollard. This guy here, Kendra Miller, is to me the closest thing to a young Zeke that I saw. Runs violent, has speed, can catch, can do a little bit of everything. You got options with him. He's a guy that you can have come in here and play alongside TP if Zeke is gone, and he can be that guy that's a little bit of the every down back or a guy that you can have carry the load. So you got a lot of options with Kendra Miller because of the way he runs. He's still another guy because of not only contracts. You don't want a guy racking up too many yards early because of contracts, obviously. And two, you don't want him racking up injuries as well. So he runs so violent and so vicious that I would still couple him with a guy like TP and spare him. I'll maybe use him in a 3-back scheme if you wanted to keep Zeke as well. Either way, no matter how you slice it, he's a guy that you can draft. And on this team, he's definitely going to be a good fit due to the way he runs. Like he can play short yardage. He can be that home run hitter. He's great in the screen game. TCU used him quite well in that aspect. And he's mean. And he got that energy like Zeke where guys rally around him and they really do get they get excited when he touches the ball, man. Oh, you was talking about Bobby Wagner. Oh yeah, Bobby Wagner definitely need to be on this team, man. He definitely need to be on this team. You said it's a little better. It's better now. Got you. Got you. Might still be a little choppy because, like I said, I'm running 2 screens and it's a laptop, man. It ain't got, the graphics card might not be the craziest. Let me close some of these other windows too. Maybe that'll help me. Boom. Help it speed up a little bit for y'all. This move right here is like sick, man. Like, look at this. Got him. But I like how he runs, man. Got great vision, good balance, good burst. That run right there reminds me of Cincinnati Zeke's rookie year where he just split the seas, a part of the Red Sea, so to speak. But he got good balance, man. He got a low center of gravity. You get a body on him, even if you get a body on him, you ain't really got him. You know what I'm saying? And he got the size where he can endure punishment. So I like how Miller runs the ball, but due to his violence, due to the violent nature in which he runs, and the fact that he does, I saw a couple of runs where I like, in the league, I don't know if I like that. But due to his violence, I would definitely want him coupled in the backfield with somebody. But you got options. If he was a back that you just had as a sole back by himself, I think he could fare well doing that as well with another journeyman. If you don't keep Tony, or if Tony takes some time to get fully healthy, you can couple him with somebody and he's still all right. Jawan Ism, I appreciate the super chat, good brother. You don't got no questions either. He just threw it up there. Appreciate that, man. Definitely. He said, no, don't double dip at running back. Why? Double dip? What you mean double dip? You mean like draft two guys? I wouldn't draft two guys. No, I would definitely draft one. I agree. Why? Because TP is still going to be here. They saying let TP go, but I don't see a good reason. He said you need the Cash App. Cash App, I'll put it here for you. My man ain't Megatwan. Formless, spelled with a number 4. That's my Cash App. I just put it in the chat for you. I'll throw it up here later. But yeah, Formless is definitely the Cash App, so you guys can do that too. It's in the chat. He said just signed on, but I think we can get the kid from UCLA. That's Charbonnet. I got him in the film. He's actually one of the 5 that I'm looking at too. So he said drafting 2 guys. No, yeah, I wouldn't draft 2 guys either. But yeah, Charbonnet is coming up, man. You got it. But like I said, Miller, look at his runs, man. You guys can see it. You know what I mean? He's a solid guy. He definitely is not a guy that I would shy away from. What you do with him, as I said, you got options, man. You got options. I definitely look at him as a guy that you don't want in the backfield by himself early on because you want to save him. With the arguments that I've been having on Twitter with everybody about Zeke, everybody keeps talking about his injuries. It's like, okay, well, if a guy is worth shit the moment he gets injured, you even talking about getting rid of Tony Pollard right now. So if they're worth nothing when they get injured, you definitely don't want a bell cow back because obviously, Zeke's been available. Even when he gets injured, he makes sure he's available. He has 8,000 yards, fastest to 8,000, I think, in history. And people are still like, hey, fuck him. You know what I'm saying? So if that's how you're going to get treated, I definitely think you want to save your backs. Screw the yardage, screw the records, screw all that because y'all don't care about that, right? If all y'all care about is availability, productivity, and ability to be able to play deep in the playoffs, then you want guys that are running in, I think, a 2 to 3 back scheme, depending on the type of backs that you got. Miller's a guy that I think he's just a guy that I think you want in a 3-back scheme due to the fact that I want to save him. So I would keep Zeke and draft a guy like Kendra Miller and just call it a day, man. Loving Aries, what's up? But that's what I would do. If we didn't get to an agreement with Zeke and we had to cut him, I wouldn't mind having him there. If we didn't decide to, if we couldn't come to an agreement with TP and we wanted to run a guy who could do some of the things that TP can do and still keep Zeke, I wouldn't have a problem with this guy. The only scenario where I would say you draft 2 running backs is if, for whatever weird reason, you don't have Zeke or Tony at the beginning of the season. Then I would go with a guy like this and a Charbonnet power back, and then a guy like Miller. You know what I mean? Davey, he said running backs are replaceable and shouldn't be paid. Look at the last 10 Super Bowl teams. Running backs are only replaceable and shouldn't be paid, but they're just as replaceable as any other position, any other skill position. When you say that, like a receiver can be replaced, just like a running back can be replaced. Do you get the same level of productivity? Probably not, but you can replace him if you choose to. So when people just devalue the running back position, it's only because the running back position is only they only last maybe 4 or 5 years in the league if you let them carry the ball 30 or 40 times a game. But when you get those playmakers that definitely can break things loose, they are not replaceable. Like a TP is not a guy that you can go out and just get like that. A Zeke, you might be able to go get a power back that can do some of the things Zeke can do. It wasn't that I don't think Zeke is replaceable. It's what Zeke's done for the team that I look at. Like those things count. And if you can still play, I think you should still be able to play. No different than I look at like D-Law has already been replaced. There's guys on this team right now, Sam Williams is one of them, who can easily replace D-Law. But because of what D-Law has done for this team, I feel like he should be able to play. So when I look at Zeke, I feel the same way. He's just on the opposite side of the ball, to be, in my opinion. That's why I say that. Not that you can't find a guy that could play like Zeke. You could find a quarterback that could replace Dak. You could find a lineman that could replace Tyron Smith, any of these guys in this draft. But should you when these guys are going out there and putting on the line? Tyron Smith, I can see your argument because out of 50 games, he wasn't available. But when you use that argument, Zeke was available. See, he played through it anyway. But either way you look at it, if you're not available and you sit down like C-Mac did when he got hurt, they're going to call you trash in the Cowboys locker room or Cowboys fan base. And if you are available like Zeke and and Dez and play hampered, they're going to get rid of you anyway. So we're looking at things, like I said, like GMs from a fan standpoint. This dude here, man, Chorum, I love this kid, man. Why? But he's definitely a guy I put in a three-headed backfield. If you draft him, it's because you kept Zeke and Tony, and you wanna have some flair there, and you want to have a guy that gives you a little bit of both, but has his own little wiggle to it. Like, he's not a power back, he's not a speed back, he's just a shifty little bowling ball, Giovanni Bernard type guy, or a Maurice Jones-Drew type of guy, where you definitely want him teamed with somebody else due to the way he runs. But I love the way he runs. Hard to find because he's only 5'8". Got good size, though, because he's 5'8", 210. Exactly like Maurice Jones-Drew or Brian Westbrook type of guy. Fast, more powerful than you would give him credit for, but not little, but he's little. You know what I'm saying? A small little Pinball Johnson, if you guys remember the arena football guy, Pinball Johnson back in the day. Darren Sproles, yeah, that's a good one too, trip aces. But yeah, he's that type of guy in my opinion. When you guys say don't pay a Tony Pollard with a broken ankle, I would agree that you don't pay him 10 mil, but you do keep him, and you find a way to keep him. Iceberg Q. So I would agree that you want to get a team friendly deal, and I think he got to do that, because if you let him go right now, he's not going to get the 10 million anyway. He know that. So if he gave us a team friendly deal this year and give us an option I don't think you franchise him by any means. I don't like franchising the guy coming off of an injury like that when you're asking him to this year prove it. And how you going to prove it? You only can prove it if you get more carries. And if Tony gets more carries this year and you're asking Tony to prove it on one wheel, I think that's unfair to him, and it's unrealistic to the team, because he's still not going to get he's not going to give you a $10 million performance. But I do think if you do franchise him, you definitely have to cut Zeke, because you're going to have to give Tony enough carries to prove his contract. You know what I'm saying? And that's not going to happen in a split backfield. So if he wants 10 million plus, it ain't going to be here. I really don't think it will be. And that's just my opinion. Not solely because he's injured, but because I think that the Cowboys are trying to move away from paying one guy that much money anyway. So if you're not trying to pay Zeke that type of money, you're not going to want to pay Tony that 2 years from now either. You know what I'm saying? So either way you look at it, if you're trying to like make the running back room as efficient as possible for your money, you restructure Zeke, and you get Tony on a team-friendly deal, and you draft a guy. And neither one of the three of those guys, due to the fact that they're not getting that workload, will ever warrant enough money in the future, or be able to ask for enough money in the future due to stats, right? They won't be able to, because they'll be split in three ways. And if you're looking at that, Chorum, however you say his name, he's the perfect fit for this team, in my opinion, with a guy like Schottenheimer who wants to run the ball a lot. I like the way Chorum looks, man. He's one of those guys that I would take in a heartbeat. I would take him in a heartbeat. I love him. What are we looking at in here? He said, pay these guys, will trash him, bank pay TP. These guys will trash him to bank on it. Yeah, you pay him, they will trash him. They'll throw him away in a week, man. He said, what up, AKOYE? I've been on board with keeping Zeke as a third back. People forget how Zeke was coaching up Hardy on Hard Knocks. You still need vets in the locker room, too. That's a fact. And to be quite honest with you, when I look at, I was like this. Like, I was like, okay, we do need to get rid of Zeke. That's when I started the film. It's the same way I looked at Dez, man. I said, we do need to get rid of Zeke. And I looked at the film, and because I was looking at him the way everybody else is, like the whole body of work for the season. And I forgot how well he was playing before he got injured. And then when I looked at that, I said, oh, wait a minute. He's not that injured. Number one, he didn't tear anything. There go Gibbs right there. We're going to get into him. I think he's a TP clone. But he's not that injured. Number one, Zeke wasn't, because he was able to play with a brace. Those other guys aren't. But then I looked at other guys in the league when I was trying to compare Tony to guys like Kamara and Ingram and so on. And I looked at C-Mac. And I said, yo, the argument that everybody has for Zeke is, he been hurt for 2 years in a row, but he was available for those 2 years. And those injuries weren't debilitating. C-Mac had 2 straight debilitating injuries where he played 3 games one year, 7 games next year. And then you know what he did this year? About 1,300 yards because he played the whole season. So why is it that he has, and he got a good contract too, but why is it that he could come back from injury and have faith? You have faith in him, but none in Zeke. I didn't understand that. That's when I started the argument. It didn't come straight off of, I just love Zeke and we should keep Zeke. It was like, oh, wait a minute. The Cowboy fans always get caught in these narratives that ESPN or Skip Bayless or one of those guys are pushing, and we don't look at things realistically. Then they're like, oh, let's give TP more carries. Bruh, I love TP too. I love him. I was the first one to come out and tell people what he was going to be before anybody was talking about TP. I was talking about TP. And I mean that. You can go look at it. I mean, it's factual. I told you exactly what he was going to be. Now, with that said, why would if a guy's been injured twice, he had plantar fasciitis and he had a fasciitis or whatever you call it, and then he had a broken leg this year with less carries, without carrying a load. He was hurt twice in a row, just like Zeke. Why would the answer be, let's give Tony more carries? That didn't make any sense. But to Gibbs is a guy that if you decide not to keep Tony, this is who you go with. Same size, same running style, can receive out of the backfield, can play a little bit of receiver too, like we asked Tony to do. So if you're looking for just a straight up Tony replacement and you just say, look, man, we don't want to pay Tony, but we want to keep Tony, Gibbs is your guy. 200 pounds, quick guy, cuts on type of cuts. He has good balance. Not a power guy, but a guy that breaks tackles. If you try to tackle him with your arm, which he's going to make you do because he's not going to give you a whole body to hit because of his shiftiness. Gibbs is a guy that if you want to replace Tony and you didn't want to pay him, that's who you go with. And that's whether you keep Zeke or not. You can go get a veteran power back and keep him, or you can keep Zeke and get you a Jahmyr Gibbs, and he can do the job that Tony is doing right now. The question is, should you ask him to do that? I don't know, but that's your option if you decide to go that route. I really do think so. Here we go. Tulane. He said that Tulane running back is for real. What's his name? Steve White. What up, though? Special K. He said, bro, star player doesn't get hurt. What star player doesn't get hurt at some point? Thank you, bro. It's a fact. That's all of them. If I don't care if you're, we was all hype about the sign of no knee having Odell Beckham. I ain't hear nobody say Odell Beckham is getting old. Odell Beckham ain't got it no more. He on 2 bad knees. We just signed a T.Y. Hilton. They just said we need to bring back Randall Cobb. But when it comes to Zeke, for some reason, it don't make no sense to keep a guy who definitely ain't that hurt. He ain't that hurt. If he was that hurt, he wouldn't have been playing on the one leg. But I think with a fresh offseason that he's going to get this season and what he was doing the last 2 years in the offseason, if you can give me 1,000 yards on one leg, I don't got no problem with you, bro. I really don't. Until I see Zeke starting a season or starting training camp looking like he looks at the end of these seasons, then I would say he's slowing down and he got a problem. He said, and C-Mac has the scheme, but we got a scheme now that's suited for run heavy. So, that's still the same, man. That's still the same. Let's see. He said garbage. He said we can't give. Let me see. We can't give this group 1 year with the WCO. No, because Steven's plans went dodo. We have to blow it up. Hey, man, I hear you. If you decide to cut Zeke, though, Charbonnet would be my option. He's plays like Zeke plays when he's healthy right now. Not top end speed anymore. Zeke don't got that top end speed anymore. Now, if you're looking for a fresh power back, though, that got some shiftiness to him, that definitely finishes strong, and that stays available, Charbonnet's your guy. That's the guy that you're looking on the screen right now from UCLA. Big guy. I think he's Samoan. Looks Samoan anyway. Very mean. And I like the way he runs. He finishes strong, man. But he's a guy. He's a guy that I definitely wouldn't mind having. Let's see what Davey's saying. AKOYE Media, TP only hurt this year. When TP got nearly the amount of touches we wanted him to, he was one of the highest grade running backs, was a demon in the run and pass game, scored 12 TDs. TP got hurt last year too, man. He had plantar fasciitis and he was trash after that. He wasn't like great until his foot healed. So stop it. TP's had games where he wasn't there, and TP is not a guy that I want to carry the load for the team. No matter what you say, I would never want a backfield where it's just TP. They said the same thing when Kamara and Ingram split ways, and Ingram went to be more for a year or two. And what happened with Kamara? He wasn't that guy. C-Mac, you could say everything you want about C-Mac. C-Mac is not even in a one-back scheme. It never will be because he's not a one-back scheme guy. TP is not a one-back scheme guy either. Neither was Reggie Bush. You know, those guys are neither was Brian Westbrook. Those guys just not that. Neither was Shady McCoy. They're just not that. And there's nothing wrong with that. I don't think that those are the type of backs that you want to have 20 carries or 20 touches, 20 to 30 touches every game. They're just not those guys. And there's nothing, that doesn't mean that I don't want them here. Like, y'all keep turning it into an argument where I'm saying TP is why can't Zeke be good and TP be good? Why does it have to be, if I like Zeke, I hate TP? That no world does that exist. In no world is that realistic. And only in the Cowboys fan base is that even a fucking conversation, man. I don't understand the Cowboys fans. We are so weird here. It's crazy. You know, when Cooper Rush was playing well, everybody said, well, fuck Dak. I was like, well, why not? I got Cooper Rush and I got Dak. When Dak come back, we could play Dak the same way we were using Cooper Rush, and we got Cooper Rush just in case something happened to Dak. I don't get it. You know what I mean? And then we all talk about money over here so much, you would think that we're collectively paying them. I went through so many vicious arguments with Cowboys fans on Twitter. I was like, man, I'm tired of arguing, man. I ain't argue with, you know who I didn't argue with? Lord Brunson or none of the Eagles fans that follow me. They all like, please cut Zeke. We want him. Or cut TP. We'll take him too. We just got rid of Sanders. You know what I mean? They got, it don't make no sense. It don't make no sense. I'm arguing with our own team only because of the narratives that keep getting created by our own fans or by the media. It is crazy to me. But I'm not here to like tell people what to believe. Believe whatever you want. You know, believe whatever you want. I'm not here to preach belief. I'm here about, it's a accumulated knowledge. Knowledge ain't got shit to do with belief. I go off of the film. If the film says that you trash, or if the film says you ain't playing right, y'all know I don't care who it is. People was liking Collins. I said Collins was trash truck juice. And I liked Collins before that, right? What was he last year? Trash truck juice. Not because I ain't like him no more, not because I love still, but because the film said he was. And when Zeke is trash truck juice and can't play no more, I will say that. And that's not yet. But again, if you want a Zeke replacement, should we cut him? Charbonnet is your guy. Charbonnet is your guy. Everybody want that. You said you want that Samoan guy. You talking about Ika? I don't like Ika, man. The dude from Baylor. I don't like him because he can't move. I mean, if you just want a wall, all right, let me give you an example as to why I don't like him. Even though we're not talking about that right now. The reason I don't like Ika the DT is because Ika is a guy like, we hated Dontari Poe when he was here, right? We hated Dontari Poe. We said Dontari Poe was trash because he couldn't move, right? But he could clog up the middle, but he couldn't get nowhere and make any tackles like Hankins is doing, right? Ika the same guy. He's just younger. He don't move. He can't move. He is a wall, but he can't move. There you go with Charbonnet. Once again, you guys see it. Like I said, I like the way he's running. Bigsby, I like the way Tank Bigsby runs, but the reason he is a three-back guy, a guy that I will keep here with a three-back scheme or maybe with TP only, is because of how violent he runs. He does crazy, reckless shit at the end of each run, and when he does it, it makes me say, okay, I think I want to keep a guy here. I think I want him in a three-man rotation because you never want him getting, 250 carries or more because of how violent Bigsby runs. But you got the option. If he can carry the load, he could do everything by himself. But I just wouldn't because of how crazy he plays. Davey, AKOYE Media, we're paying OBJ. We're saying OBJ is washed and injury prone, but it didn't matter because if OBJ could have played, he would have been better than all of our wide receivers except CD. You say that, you say that, but how do you know? We thought that Gallup was going to be good with a messed up knee. How do you know? See what I'm saying? So stop it. I don't want to hear that shit. Wayne's World. AKOYE, main thing I want in the backfield, in a back with us moving West Coast is vision. Oh, yeah, that's facts. That's facts. You got to have vision. You can't just be a wild man. Although with the way Schottenheimer plays, He like wild men too. And Bigsby is a wild man. He's a beast. He gonna run through your face. He said OBJ and C-Mac don't look washed. OBJ and C-Mac don't run on hurt knees. They sit down for years. If Zeke and this is the question I got for people who say that, right? When those two sat down for 2 straight seasons, they sat down, right? OBJ looked washed with the Browns. Ain't nobody like him over there because he had a bad quarterback, right? Then he went to the Super Bowl. You know what I'm saying? But when they sit down, it's you look at the last bit of film that they had when they were healthy, right? And then you judge them accordingly. Zeke didn't sit down. He still played through the injury. But I gave him the same courtesy that I gave those two guys, C-Mac and OBJ. I looked at his film from when he last played healthy and judged him accordingly. Because that's what you do with those guys. But they sat down. So, of course, they didn't look washed up when they played injured because they didn't play injured. So I don't understand that argument. It doesn't make any sense. Joseph Randall or Tony Pollard, not big enough for 17 games. I agree. He said Shady wasn't like them. He could take the load. Nope. Shady couldn't take the load. Nope. Shady always had an extra back in the backfield. Where was Shady a one back system? When was he ever the only guy? Appreciate the cash app, big bro. I ain't checked yet, but I know you always look out, man. Thank you. He said, yo, Volts fans said, when y'all giving up that? Right. The Colts fans, I know what you meant. Who cares AB one back scheme if TP who cares about a one back scheme if TP got the majority of the carries? We'd be better while also giving carries to 1 or 2 other backs. Bro, what are you saying? Who said anything about TP not getting the majority of the carries? Who? Why you keep having Davey be having arguments with himself? I don't get you, bro. You strange. Nobody said that TP shouldn't get more carries than Zeke. I didn't say that. I don't care if you give him more carries than Zeke. I just don't want him. If you say, hey, he needs to be a bell cow back and we can get rid of Zeke, or Zeke. People say Zeke is eating into TP's carries. Lies. TP don't need that many carries. And number one, TP get less carries also because he's a home run hitter. So his yards per carry are always going to mean he's going to get less carries than the average back because he's going to get touchdowns or bigger plays and chunk yardage more often than a guy like Zeke or any other back that has less yards per carry. Why do y'all don't get what yards per carry mean? It means he gets more yards when he touches the ball. That's what that means. You get what I'm saying? So to say that TP is, TP should get more carries. If he's hurt with less carries, why would I give him more? It don't make no sense. I don't make no sense, man. Anyway, he said Trip AC said you respect that DT take. The best DT out there that plays 1 tech, 3 tech, whatever you want in the middle of the field. If you like Ika, you'll love Mozzie Smith. Mozzie Smith is the reason that everybody liked Aiden Hutchinson. He's the reason that everybody liked that dude, the other guy on the other side, Njoku. Well, I forget what his name is, Njabu, whatever. The dude that got hurt from Michigan. But anyway, David Njabu, I think his name, or Njoku, or something like that. I'm bad with names. But anyway, here's the reason he liked those guys. Mozzie Smith, I had one play I watched. I still haven't watched all of Mozzie Smith's film. But as a guy who analyzes talent, when I look at Mozzie Smith, I only needed to look at one play, and I'll tell you guys which one it is when I look at it again. But the one play that I saw was him missing in the backfield, sort of like Micah Parsons did in the Chicago game. He missed a guy in the backfield, and then I look up the sideline, and I see 58 running up the sideline. He didn't even catch the guy, but he almost caught him. And I said, how the hell can a guy 320 plus pounds chase a running back all the way up the field like that? And that was crazy to me. So the fact that he has that level of motor and versatility, dexterity, and agility at that size, that is very rare. Ika, you could find another Samoan Wall somewhere, Vita Vez, those type of guys. You could find another one of those guys that's a straight up. We got one. We got two. We got Dontar. We got We got not Dontari Poe. We got Big Bohanna, and we got Hankins. Those are guys that are like space fillers that pretty much they're gonna fill their gap. But if you can run to the edges, you can get away from them. You can't run to the edges and get away from Mozzie Smith. You can run away from Jordan Davis, and I loved him. He's another guy like Ika. He's gonna clog up his space. You double team. He's gonna force a double team and clog up his space, and that's about it. But if you guys are interested in these running backs, shoot me a like, share it, so on. I'm gonna throw some of this stuff on Twitter too. But these backs are the guys that I would look at if I was to say, hey, we're not gonna go with either Zeke or Tony or both. Those are the backs that I would look at, man. And you guys want to rewatch it? Cool. He said, Dave, you got to watch the film, sir. Let me see what Davey's saying. He said, fact is, Zeke is one of the worst backs when you take out the O-line. What? He doesn't make people miss or break tackles at a high level, and nor is he a good receiving back. Zeke was a good receiving back before you got Tony, who don't know how to throw to a back. Tony wasn't even a good receiving back under Kellen Moore. I mean, so I don't know what you're talking about there either. You just say you don't like, you don't like Zeke. That's cool with me, bro. I'm not here to make you like nobody. I'm just here to tell you what's happening on the film. You want to make up all these weird ass fake stats. Like you want to say he was the worst back when you take out the O-line. What back is good with no O-line, bro? What are we talking about at all? When you take out the O-line, what are you talking about? What are you talking about? You won't make no sense. You don't make no sense, Davey. You don't. Stop it, bro. When you take out the O-line. And I even showed plays. And then when I show plays of him healthy, without the O-line, and making people miss, you ignore it and say, well, that was from before he got hurt. Stop moving the goalposts, man. That's feminine. What's your argument? If your argument is you want to move on from Zeke, just say that, and I will agree. If you want to move on from Vach, want to move on from Zeke. I don't disagree with Vach or Sky when they say it because of the reasons they say it. They don't take a shit on him and say he's trash and he can't do anything because they're not judging him injured. They're judging what he did healthy as well. But they're saying just based off of the age and time and so on and the pay, we could get the same production from someone else. If that's your argument, guess what? I can't argue with that because you can get the same production from someone else. You could. I'm saying because of what he did here, give him a shot under Brian Schottenheimer and let's see what happens. That's a totally different argument. But to keep trying to take a shot and say he can't do shit when he's healthy, I just showed you that. Why we keep having the argument like you can't see it? You've seen it. Charlene, what's up? How you doing? How you doing? Young C Money, what up, Brody? Blake Don, what's up? Here we go. Exactly, Iceberg. But he in 2018, the year before your boy Kellen Moore took over, man. Kellen Moore couldn't get the ball to Tony Pollard, who is a receiver. He didn't make nobody stress out except for maybe 2-3 games he threw in the ball. Chicago, I think, and Minnesota. But there was deep passes. You could throw Tony the ball out of the backfield all day long, just like they did with James White over in New England. So he's just not a guy that could throw. We didn't have not one screen pass last year, I don't think, that went anywhere. You know what I'm saying? Only hitches. He could throw the ball to wide receivers. That's it. Kellen Moore was not the guy for. So let's watch what Eckler does. Austin Eckler over in LA with the Chargers. Now that he got Kellen Moore, I guarantee you his receiving yards go down. You know why? Because Kellen don't design pass plays to the running back that often. He's not a West Coast style guy. So I don't get it. I don't get it. Sean Birch, what's up? He said the Auburn running back definitely worth taking in the third. Yeah, if you went and took a guy like him in the third and you just said, listen, we're gonna have a 3-headed monster, I like it. Chorum too. I don't know what day he's going. I don't know if he's going second or third round, but if you got yourself a lineman in the first round or a corner and Chorum is there in the second round, I like him too. Or third round. Either way, Chorum is a guy who I like. Let me see if this Jones skip one more time. I might play the video back again just for the guys because a lot of y'all didn't see it. So I'm not going to do the voiceover play-by-play thing again on each one, but I'll let it run in the backfield real quick. Let me see if I can do that. Boom. Here we go. Let me go back to it. Play it. Do it again. All right. We try it one more time. If it's choppy, it ain't my fault. Y'all wanted it. But all the backs that I said, the 5 backs that I named, I'm running them back again because a lot of you guys weren't here the first time. It is choppy. Yep, it's choppy again. All right, I'm going lessen the screen and fix that for you. Let me see if I can make this a little bigger though. And then we might have no problems. All right, that's as big as that. I was about to say that's as big as it's gonna get. Pause. But anyway, that's what you get right there. Anyway, he said, "Okoye, what you mean? Yeah, Okoye, what you mean? That don't make sense. That means yards not made from the O-line, making people miss, breaking tackles. He doesn't do that at a high level. He's statistically one of the worst at it. I don't need stats when I can look. Statistically, he's the worst at it when he's hurt, bro. So you looking at the stats at the whole season, okay? How many routes did Odell Beckham run while hurt? None. So statistically, he would be a bad route running receiver with a hurt knee. How bad was Michael Gallup at running routes this season? Hurt. He also played hurt the whole year. I don't hear nobody saying Michael Gallup is trash. Why? Because he was hurt the whole season. I looked at him the same way. I did not judge Michael Gallup. Why? Because I know he's hurt. Why you don't see that when it's coming to Zeke? I don't get you. He is the worst at making people miss with a hurt knee. When he was healthy in the beginning of the season, go to the Lions game, go to the Eagles game, go to any of those games early in the season, go to Cincinnati game, and tell me he wasn't making people miss. Go to Tampa Bay game where we just stopped running the first game of the season, and tell me he wasn't making people miss. That's all BS, bro. I already showed you that. You know what I'm saying? I don't know why I got to keep saying that to you, but you know I'm not crazy, bro. He can't possibly want to be one of the worst at making people miss when he's healthy. When I showed you what he was doing healthy, as I said, but you want to keep making that the argument. And Zeke's touches, like you said, have been limited. He said, you'll realize how often our backs ran out of passing sets. DP, I know you know, because that's true as hell. Yeah, that's true as hell. He said, being hurt ain't an excuse. This is football, not school. What the hell you talking about, bro? Being hurt is not an excuse to not play well. You ever played football? I don't think you have, my man. What is this you doing in your picture here? I'm trying to see that there. I can't tell. Look broke back. But anyway, being hurt definitely is an excuse, my man. There's no way being hurt can't be an excuse. He said Gallup deserved to be cut before Zeke. With the way he played, hell yeah. But I didn't got no problem with Gallup because I know why he wasn't cutting right. Being hurt ain't an excuse to not play at 100%. What world do y'all live in? And if he was hurt, y'all would have had the same argument. If he was hurt and sat down, that's the question you got to ask. If he sat down like C-Mac did and OBJ did and Gallup did, he just sat down and didn't play at all, and all you went off was the film before Zeke got hurt, y'all still will be saying Zeke is too hurt. That's my point. Y'all would have hated him if he didn't play hurt. Y'all hate him that he did play hurt. And y'all saying it's because he got hurt 2 years in a row. I showed you other backs that have been hurt every season. Every season. Y'all wanted to go get Josh Jacobs. He had 3 seasons straight where he was dinged up. 3 seasons straight where he missed 3 games at least a season and was dinged up. He had 1 season that was like a Zeke season in the last 4 years. That's it. And Zeke actually was outdoing him in the last 4 years stats with the injuries. He outdid Josh Jacobs in the last 4. If you put his 4 seasons in the last 4 seasons versus Josh Jacobs, Zeke still win that. It's like, what sense do it make then? He just is hurt. Sooner, C-Mac, less years in the league, more hurt. TP, less carries, more severely hurt. Why that don't make sense? That means that they're not the guy that you want to carry the load. I wouldn't. He said, Okoye beat. I got a problem with Gallup because he played like ass. The front office didn't do anything to make sure our wide receiver group was as good as possible after the Amari trade. You can be mad about them not making sure we was as good as possible after the Amari trade if you want. I won't argue with that. But to say that you coming at Gallup for being hurt, everybody that's ever come back from an ACL injury, everyone, they took a year to get back to themselves because it took a year for them to feel comfortable cutting again and making those kind of football moves. So, I mean, don't blame Gallup for that. Blame history and blame just, body mechanics. That's just the way that goes. You really can't change that, man. So to be mad at that, I don't get it. Yeah, I don't get it. I don't get it. I don't get how you get dinged up and you play, and people hate you for playing. They judge you based off of that instead of saying, "How the hell are you running on that knee?" And it's not like he got a bum knee. Where if he had a bum knee where at the beginning of the season his knees didn't look right, I would get it. We've seen guys. They say he got girly knees. How the fuck he got girly? Girly had Frank Gore knees, two messed up knees. We had Willis McGahee who had girly knees, and they still let him play. You know what I'm saying? Not we had, but the league had. But Zeke knees ain't that messed up. That's the point. That's why I keep saying that. He's not as severely injured as people trying to make him out to be. Other guys have been more severely injured and have come back and played better than than they played the years before. Like C-Mac this year. C-Mac had two severe injuries that took him out for 2 years in a row. He had three games in 2020, 7 games in 2019. I mean in 2021. And that's it. He was hurt. C-Mac was on the sideline. He came back this year and had a great season. You know what I'm saying? So why can't Zeke? I don't get that. I'm not trying to hold out for him because I think Zeke should get paid. I'm not even trying to say he should get his money. I'm saying if he's willing to restructure that deal, just like Zach Martin didn't play his best football the whole season, last year or this year, and he restructured. So I'm cool with that. Restructure, keep him. Cool with that. McCaffrey came back this season after an injury and did good. Yes, this season. He had 2 years in a row he was injured too. Zeke has 2 years in a row where he was injured. If he comes back healthy this season, why can't he play well? I don't get what you mean. It's going to take a 3-man committee if you keep Zeke. I think no matter how it looked, because you got a guy in Schottenheimer, the way he runs the ball, it's going to be a 3-headed monster, even if Zeke's not here, no matter what, because of the way he runs the ball, number one. And number two, if Zeke stays here, you still want to draft a guy like one of these guys to eventually replace him. I'm not saying Zeke got 6 years left. You know what I'm saying? You want to draft a guy to eventually replace Zeke, of course. But I don't want to go into a season with we're not going to go out and get a free agent with the money that you guys are asking for. If you guys think that, put a 1 in the chat if you think we're going to use the money for a top end running back. I know y'all don't think that because y'all know Jerry. So if you're not going to go get a top end running back with the money and you're going to go draft the guy, I don't want to go into a season with a drafted rookie who doesn't know the league yet and a TP who's coming off of an injury. Unless that rookie is Bijan Robinson, that would be probably the only way that I would say okay. But unless that rookie is Bijan Robinson, that's the only way it's okay. Other than that, I don't want to go into a season with a TP and a rookie. I would rather have a Zeke that I know with the style that Schottenheimer is going to run. The only way you get rid of Zeke, Booby Miles, is to completely tear his ACL or destroy him. I don't know how you get Zeke off the field, but you ain't going to get him off the field. So I would rather go into a season with that and then a TP sparingly and a rookie than going in there with just TP and a rookie. You know what I'm saying? That's what I was saying. You say you don't pay for running backs. You don't franchise them or re-sign free. That's not winning football. The Patriots created a new wave where y'all think that running backs don't need to be paid, because y'all talking money ball. When you talking money ball and you saying you go get a guy with some tread left on the tires, okay, that makes sense, right? I get where you're going with that. But why wouldn't restructuring a deal with Zeke make sense then? Huh? And the other thing is, from just a ethics and moral standpoint, from my point of view, When I look at what happened to a Marion Barber and those guys, where I look at what happens to running backs post-career because of the amount of pounding that they take, to say that a running back don't deserve nothing is crazy. TP has not gotten any money yet. To wait till he breaks his leg and say, screw running backs, we don't pay running backs. I mean, you don't got to pay them top dollar, but you should pay them something. And that's just real shit, period. Yeah, period. You said Zeke, you saying that a healthy Zeke, 250 carries is not better than TP 250 or a drafted back. A healthy Zeke at 250 is going to be there, in my opinion. And I do think he's better or just as good as any of these backs. How can you say that when Zeke had one down year in his entire 7-year career? One down year. And when I say one down year, that's 1 year where he didn't account for 1,200 total yards. How are you even saying that? You don't make a sense again. What evidence are you, since you're going off of stats, right? Davey. He had 1 year where he didn't get 1,200 total yards. One this year. And it's because he was splitting carries. Even at his lowest yards per game, at 230 carries, right? He still got you almost 900 yards at 200. And that's with missing 3 games. Come on, bro. You still don't make no sense. He missed 3 games. He would have had over 250 this year and still over 1,000 yards this season. This season without missing 3 games. So you sound crazy. You still sound crazy. And he said, yeah, TP. And that's the other thing. TP had 198 carries this year and is coming out of surgery with a broken leg. When can you get TP to 250 carries is the question. Touches is different. You are crazy. That's crazy. He said Zeke is better than 80% of the rookies. And then that's the other thing. How many rookies do you see come in the league and just tear shit up? It ain't that many Josh Jacobs and Nick Chubbs in the world, bro. They don't just come. There's a lot of these guys that look great in the draft room, but when they get on the team, they ain't the same guy, man. Or they don't last. We had Carson. Carson looked good over in Seattle. Where's Carson now? He made it 3 years of that beating. Zeke can take that beating. That's what I'm talking about. Like, that's all I'm saying. I don't know why you like. I can understand you saying that you need to go get a guy as insurance for Zeke, or that Tony should get more of a feature, meaning like throw him the ball more and work him into the offense more. Yeah, I don't know why that. And then even this season with Zeke getting 12 touchdowns this season, 10 touchdowns the year 2020, and I think like 7 touchdowns last year. Y'all still like, hey, trash, get him out of here. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's not trash. I don't care what you're saying, man. Because Zeke's getting the majority of the touches and got outgained by Pollard, and they scored the same amount of TDs. Never mind. You don't understand, bro. I get what you're saying. We should give Tony Pollard, who's injured, we should get, because coming into this season, he's going to be injured, right? Okay, so we should give him more carries this season. Anybody who think we should give Tony Pollard more carries this season coming off of a broken ankle, give me some ones in the chat other than Davey84. If that makes sense to you, say it. I don't make sense to me. Israel, Aban Kanda, I don't know him. I don't know him, Cowboy 42. I'll check him out. He said every premier back has had serious issues lately other than Chubb. Chubb and the boy Hunt, Kareem Hunt is always available too. Yeah, he always available too. AKOYE Meter, why running backs come into the league and tear it up every year? Eli on the 49ers, the Chiefs dude, Pacquiao, whatever his name is, and Seahawks Walker, etc. Bro, one season tearing it up is not equivalent to being available every season, bro. Like, going to go get a back and then having to go draft another back 2 years from now or a year from now. I don't want to draft a back every year. Every back is not built for a pounding, bro. I don't care what you're saying. They're not. They're not. Giving TP more carries off of an injury is dangerous. To be honest, and here's the shadiness of it. Here's the shadiness of it from a Cowboy standpoint. And this is what y'all not talking about, which don't make no sense because y'all just going off of Madden feelings like people don't got actual nerve endings and shit. When you're looking at it from a shade standpoint, it's kind of shady to franchise TP. I don't say you don't franchise him because he don't deserve no money. But if you franchise him and you give TP one season to prove it, right? You give him 1 year. That's shady because now you're going to have to give TP more carries. You know why? Because he's going to try to justify his asking price. He got to justify that. So to say, okay, we're not going to give you a long-term deal, a 3-year deal, none of that. We're going to give you a one-term deal, 1 year on a franchise deal. And now you got to come out and prove that you're worth your money off of a broken ankle. That's shady if you asking him to do that. That don't make no sense to me. I say you give TP a 3-year deal right now. That's worth okay money, 7 to 8 mil a year. You know what I'm saying? You give Zeke about 5 mil a year. You get that cap hit down and you draft a rookie. That's what I would do this season because that makes the most sense, the most reasonable sense based off of who we are as a team and based off of what's fair to the players. Now, who we are as a team, you know we're not going to go draft or go sign a big name free agent. We will draft a running back and draft well, and probably not in the first round. Probably second or third round, to be honest. So those who want Bijan Robinson probably ain't going to happen. Those who want Gibbs, probably not going to get him either. I'm just being honest. Now, if you do go get a Gibbs, okay, you put him in a 3-man rotation, you still telling Tony, no matter what, let's put it this way, Tony not going to get that big money here no matter what. His best bet is to try to go for 5 to 8 million because that's what he's going to get here, and that's the only way he stays here. He's not going to get that money because if you don't franchise him, which is shady to me, you got to sign him for less money. If you sign him for less money, you're still going to draft a guy because he's hurt. If you draft a guy because he's hurt, he's still going to split carries, which means Tony not going to get enough carries to get big money here. It's not going to happen. So that's period. That's no matter what happens. I don't think that happens. That's just realistic business and football. I'm not talking crazy. You said a Gallup deal. Yeah, a Gallup deal where you're going to get good money. They're going to give you they're going to treat you just like they treated Gallup. We know you hurt, but we're going to judge you off of what you did, and you're going to give us a break because you hurt, and we're going to give you a break because you hurt, and we're going to give you some RA money, and you get to stay around. You don't even want to make big money in Dallas. Look at Zeke. Look at Dez. Look at anybody who make big money. Y'all start like the piranhas, start trying to cut his legs off anyway because they'll drop a little bit of news in 105.3 The Fan, and then y'all start running with it. And then it's like, yeah, he's costing us too much money. And don't realize we had $23 million in free up cap last season that we ain't do shit with because we don't do that anyway. Name the last big name free agent that we went out and signed. That wasn't, we traded for Cooper. And look what we did after we gave him money. You're out of here if you make money. They don't be wanting you here when you make money. Nobody who makes money stays here more than 3 years after they make their money because they start looking at that paycheck and they be like, no, you ain't getting, you get like 2-3 years after you make your money, you the fuck out of here. You know what I'm saying? Unless if you get hurt, if they can't get their productivity out of you, you're gone. So that's why it becomes political. You mad about Zeke getting the carries? They was giving Zeke the carries because Zeke was getting the money. That's why I say restructure his deal, and then you ain't got to worry about how many carries he get because he ain't getting the money anyway. So what? Give Zeke less carries. Cool with me. I'd rather have him. I'd rather have him later in the season with less carries and less politics anyway. So to avoid the politics, no matter who you got, don't get paid in Dallas. Because they think they New England. And that's not shade. That's really how they try to play. They try to play money ball. So I saw somebody say, cut Zeke, cut Tyron, free up, and then cut a bunch of other people, restructure Zach, and we're going to have $59 million in free cap. To do what? To do what? They don't go out and get big name free agents. Money or no money. To do what? Exactly. Here he said it too. Cut Tyron and get Zeke that money and get that money back for free agents. Resign your own. That is in a la land scenario because they don't do it. I'm not here to tell you what to want. You can want to fuck Rihanna. That don't mean it's going to happen. You know what I'm saying? I ain't here to tell you what to want, but I am here to tell you, if you would like to have a woman that look like Rihanna and you don't have that type of star appeal, your best bet is to move to DR or move to Colombia, good brother, because they got women that look like Rihanna that are not having the same asking. That's what I'm here to tell you, how to get a semblance of something that you want, how to make yourself happy under these conditions. But I'm not here to tell you what to fantasize about, because you go ahead and get the money freed up. They're not gonna give you no big name free agent anyway. You're not gonna get Josh Jacobs. You're not gonna get no C Mac over here, bro. You know what I'm saying? They're not gonna go get you Jalen Ramsey, and if they do, I will come and eat crow. I don't even think they're gonna go get you Bobby Wagner, who I would go get in a heartbeat. They ain't gonna do it. So what you talk about? You can want whatever you want to want. I ain't here to tell you that. Want it. I'm here to tell you what might happen. I do this every year, and I swear, I don't be wrong. No season I'll be wrong about what's about to happen. I said, hey, Micah Parsons gonna come in here. He's a middle linebacker. I said, he's gonna come in here in the first game of the season. I said, he better than D-Law. They're like, oh, God damn it. How dare you say he better than D-Law? Now everybody like, hush the word, mum's the word. Because I'm not here to tell you what to like. I'm not here about no popularity contests, none of that. I just go off of what they are likely to do, what the Cowboys are likely to do. And they're not likely to go out and get no big name guys. They don't do it. So why are we talking about it? They will re-sign their own, though. So what are you saying? And they sign free agents for cheap. We are $7 million, is minus $7 million cap. So you have to free up cap anyway. That's why I say you restructure Zeke. I don't care if you cut Tyron. I didn't say don't cut him. You know, at the end of the day, we have a good replacement for him in Tyler, and I think we're still coming back. There isn't really a spot for Tyron unless you push Tyler to left guard, which I wouldn't have a problem if you did that, and you can get some of the money back from Tyron in some other way by restructuring. That makes sense, because then we're going into the season with me, a trusted commodity as far as the O-line is concerned. And then you draft a guy that could play left guard or left tackle or a swing guy. You draft a swing guy in the first or second round that can give you those type of reps, like a Tyler Smith again. You know what I'm saying? That way you can, if Tyron goes down again, you got a guy you can plug right in the left guard and let him play. That's all. That's what I would do there. So you got a point with that. We got to free up cap, but freeing it up and saying we're gonna go get that money in some other way, or go use that money in some other way. Tell me what you're going off of, because they don't do it. And then I'm also, with the Zeke argument, I'm not even going off of my feelings. I'm going off of Jerry's feelings and Steven. There's never been a season when they don't want you here, they might not say they don't want you here, but they're gonna let it be known in the media that they don't want you here. You see what I'm saying? They did that with Dez. It's like, yeah, we got to see. They went hard at Dez in the media. They kept dropping little shit. They ain't did that with Zeke. They haven't done it with Tyron either. They like both those guys. They ain't done that with Zeke. They said, how we go, Zeke goes. That's what he said in the beginning of the year, in the middle of the year. Even when Zeke was hurt, he said, well, there's other things that we're looking at when it comes to Zeke Elliott. So they like Zeke Elliott. So I'm telling you what, realistically, you might have to live with, Davey. I'm not telling you what to want, okay? All right. Thank you, bro. Jesus Christ. You said Jerry is mad as fuck. You expect him to spend this year? If you was expected to spend this year, we will already be talking to Bobby Wagner. I don't think nobody said nothing to him. Like, Bobby Wagner is the most available linebacker I've ever seen. He doesn't get hurt. He don't get hurt. That boy Iron Man, because he plays so smooth. But they don't go get that guy. Jalen Ramsey, we can go get him, and this team changes drastically with those two picks. If you wanted to win the Super Bowl defensively, and you say, I don't care what we draft, we're going to draft offense. So we're going to draft us a running back, maybe two. We're going to pay Zeke less or cut him. We're going to keep Tony. And we want to get a lineman and a wide receiver, right, on offense. And you wanted to shore up the defense. You only got to do two things. You go get Jalen Ramsey for a year or two as a hitman, and you go get you Bobby Wagner for a year or two. Right there. The defense is done. You don't need to touch the defense no more. Done. You don't need to do shit else. That's it. Bobby Wagner in the middle. Him and Micah Parsons roaming around that field is crazy. And then you got Jalen Ramsey, who's going to make you have to throw the ball at Diggs and Bland, which is insane. To have to throw the, if you know I got to choose between throwing the ball at Jalen Ramsey, you ain't going to be open because he play in phase. You're not going to be open. He ain't going to be open at all. Not much, because he's going to shut down your second man and then force you to throw the ball at Diggs all day or Bland all day. And both those guys are ball hawks. I would love that scheme. Then you got J. Lou, who's just in there. You know what I'm saying? Then you got Izzy, who's just around, freed up. That's insane. I wouldn't draft a fullback because, again, for those who want TP to get more carries, I wouldn't draft a fullback because Zeke can play fullback. Put his ass at fullback too. On plays where you want a fullback, have Zeke lead. On plays when you need Zeke to have a fullback, take Hendershot or McKeon or one of those guys, put them in the backfield. The one thing I do like about Mike Scolari pickup is he will bring an extra lineman in and use the hell out of him the right way. So I don't have a problem with that. C-Mac has a fullback, and D. Cook has one. Why not Zeke get one? I mean, Zeke did also play well when he had fullbacks, too. That's the other thing that happened when Kellen Moore got here. We got rid of fullbacks, and Zeke's stats go down, and they're like, and he started sharing carries with TP, and his stats go down, and they're like, he's trash. Crazy. I don't like Cowboys fans, man. I don't like the way y'all think. Y'all don't think. Ever watch Green Bay with Coon? Hell yeah. Yeah, Coon was a beast too. Mike Allstott, beast. He said, "Yep." Moore had a zone run system. Keith Smith was the boy. Yeah. So was Olawale. If you used him right, he could block. Olawale was nice. Kellen Moore just didn't like that. He said, "Sounds like Kellen Moore offense." Still shaking my head. What sound like Kellen Moore offense? Come on, man. You crazy? Kellen Moore offense don't have. Kellen Moore's play calling was the problem. It wasn't the plays. Kellen Moore was calling dumbass shit, and he didn't have any continuity. And when he had continuity, we would get so excited like that was something special. When all good OCs do that, they build off of what they put on film. You know what I'm saying? They also scout themselves so they can see what teams are going to try to do against them based off of what they've been putting on film. And then they counter that later. They give you a similar look and do something opposite. Kellen does stupid things, very not smart things, like doing reverses at the 30 every time. If I know that that's coming every time, you never surprise me with it. It was successful maybe 5 times in his stint, but he did it every year. Kellen was trash, okay? Zeke needs 20 plus carries. They said that the game in San Fran, I think what he had 15 carries for 55 yards was trash. I just went back and looked at the bus versus Washington, right? In a game, in a big game. The bus had 28 carries for 94 yards and 1 touchdown. It was like excellent game. And he averaged 3.4 yards a carry because that's how running backs who are like that, like the bus, Eddie George, Zeke, that's how they run. They run like that. They'll have 15 carries for 60 yards. And that's just the way they run. TP is one of those guys that only need 10 to get 60 yards. But he also not going to get you the tough yards. So that's why I don't want TP out there carrying the ball 20 times. I feel you. Once Kellen Moore got his fingers on the offense, we started passing too much, and Zeke went to 12 carries a game. Yes, he did. And then people said Zeke is trash. Dak had 3 interceptions because of pass coverage. O-line will see I guess shore that up. And also Zeke and the committee. I agree with the Zeke and committee. I don't think the O-line had anything to do with Dak throwing interceptions. And I don't think the pass coverage had anything to do with it. It was scheme. You got to scheme. You got to scheme guys open. Kellen wasn't scheming guys open enough. Because to me, Debo Samuels is how you use a CD Lamb. Drag routes, dig routes, slant routes. Drag routes, dig routes, slant routes, hitch routes. And then when those guys are coming down to press him because he's killing you underneath all day with those rub routes, drag routes, screen routes, dig routes, when they start coming down towards the line of scrimmage, then you hit him with some deep passes over the top. But that's what you're supposed to do with a guy like CD. We didn't do that with CD. We were doing button hooks and asking him to run deep posts like he was T.Y. Hilton. That's not his game. Or like they try to ask him to do things that we asked Cooper to do. He ain't Cooper. That ain't his game. Cooper even came here and told you we running too many stop routes. Cole Beasley told you we running too many stop routes and bullshit. Daz told you we running too much bullshit. And guess what? They kept running the bullshit and got rid of the players. They got rid of the players and kept the dudes who were calling the dumbass plays. I would even be mad if I was Linehan, because Linehan, I think, was handcuffed by JG. The reason I think that is because Linehan was not as vanilla anywhere else. He got vanilla here. And I think a lot of the things Tony Romo was doing was using Linehan's scheme and doing what he wanted to do. And then we were giving Garrett and Linehan the credit for some of the things that Tony and Dez were doing just off of recognition on their own. But when you look at Linehan with Megatron or Linehan with Randy Moss, he wasn't vanilla then. He got vanilla later. JC Cowboys Network, what's good, brother? New philosophy, our coordinators, Sean Burch said, will keep our running game viable all season. I know what you mean. And playoffs. Yep. What do you think of our CBs? I feel like we've got a lot of talent there, but the young guys are just undisciplined. Agreed. Joseph played well to me, but he just seemed to have bad luck. Joseph played bad. Joseph played bad, bro. Joseph only played a handful of snaps. He didn't play a lot. But when he was in there, he got scored on almost every time he was in there. And we were hating AB. We was hating AB. But we noticed immediately when he was gone. Look at how many corners played in AB's position since he left. We had so many dudes play there. We had so many dudes play there. It was like, come on, man. That was crazy. So I think Joseph's okay, but he gotta put in the work this offseason and come in and have a hell of a training camp. Athletically, he's a beast, but he's another Rico Gathers to me until he shows me otherwise. An undisciplined dude that I don't care what he does. Davey says, AKOYE, okay, let's stop talking about replaceable running backs. Do you go offensive heavy this offseason and make a weakness a strength, or defensive heavy and make a strength a superpower? I just told you with that, like, I think you go defensive light, but you do it in free agency. Historically, though, I don't think they're going to do that. If they do go out and get a Bobby Wagner, I think you're solid there. You go out and get you a Mozzie Smith or a good nose tackle in the draft. And honestly, man, I say this all the time. It's not popular. I know that. I do like my guy, J. Ron Kurtz. I love him. But with the fact that we have so many safeties here that are nice, that we like, Izzy, Makamu included, we got guys that can do what J. Rock does, like Izzy. Izzy can man up against tight ends. He can man up against slot receivers. He can make it so that you can play out of your base all day if you want with a single high safety, right? But the reason I have an issue with J. Rock is J. Rock is holding guys like Jabril Cox back, and he's also holding the entire scheme up, because I think that the best defense that we have, if you wanted to turn this defense into a superpower, if you just look at our weaknesses were the run, preferably or ideally on the edges, right? Since we're talking about that right now. I'll jump off in a second because I know this is going to be a long-ass video. But the best defense our defense could put on the field would be a 3-4. And it's a reason I say that. You got two guys or three that, and look at my three. My three said 4. 3 that I think are in limbo in this scheme. Although they overcome it well, and that's Osa Odigizua is really more of a 3-4 defensive end. Like, he should be over in Pittsburgh playing 3-4 defensive end. Osa Odigizua, who's playing 3-tech mostly, who I think is a lot better at 3-4 defensive end than he is at 3-tech when you're asking him to man up the middle of the field. He was getting pushed out of there a lot. Although he can do it, he's only 285. on a good day. He's the same size as D-Law playing 3-tech. D-Law can play 3-tech just like Osa can. I wouldn't ask him to do it either. But I wouldn't have a problem with either of those guys sandwiching a nose tackle in a 3-4, like Hankins, playing on either side. Bringing in a Carlos Watkins to play on either side. So Carlos Watkins playing as a 3-4 defensive end, which is what he played in Houston anyway. But 3-4 defensive end playing alongside a nose tackle with D-Law at 3-4 defensive end on the opposite side, and allowing Sam Williams and Micah Parsons to play that 3-4 outside linebacker. That will shore up your run game because you can't run in the middle because those guys are in there and their spacing is right. And you can't run on those edges because we have guys that are able to widen out so that you can't trap block those guys with wide receivers like they were doing against us and get into those edges this season. You won't be able to do that. But the only reason we don't do that is because we run big nickel because J-Rock is out there. So I think that would change a lot of things. But adding Bobby Wagner would also be, no matter how you look at it, a great addition. I don't think we need Jalen Ramsey as much as we need a Bobby Wagner. Bobby Wagner will come in. I think LV immediately gets out of here. And you have Bobby Wagner schooling Clark and Cox. You know what I mean? I like that look. If you're going to go true 4-3, you get Bobby Wagner. You push J-Rock back to a natural safety and have him play more of a Cam Chancellor role than playing a will linebacker role, because that's what he's playing right now, like a will linebacker. And he's okay there, but it hurts us. You just look at when he was out, look at how well we fared against the run versus when he came back. He can tackle. I don't dislike the player. He's great. He is. But I don't like how we use him schematically and how the scheme changes to accommodate for him. That's what I don't like. Now, also, moving Micah Parsons to middle linebacker is also an idea that makes a lot of sense because you can't run on us with Micah Parsons as middle linebacker. When we had to play C-Mac and they put Micah Parsons at middle linebacker, he was definitely a factor. You can't run away from him sideline to sideline. And I think Micah Parsons and Bobby Wagner next to each other is also crazy. And then you use him on third downs on the outside. Either way. But I think 3-4 is the way to go. I've been screaming that for years with the personnel that we have. But the other guy that I said that's the odd man out in this defense is Chauncey Golston. Chauncey Golston, he can't quite play outside linebacker or defensive end. And he's also not a 3-tech. He's also a 3-4 defensive end type of guy. Violent and definitely can stop the run if he's over a tackle or shading tight ends and tackles rather than playing over a guard in the center. I think he's better there. Also, I think both those guys, Osa and Chauncey, playing 3-4 defensive end, make it so that whoever you have at defensive end, like a Micah Parsons and a Sam Williams playing half a man, are playing singled up on a left tackle or right tackle, they're going to eat all day because you can't one-on-one those guys, but you have to one-on-one them if you have a 3-4 scheme because those three guys in the middle are all soaking up blocks. D-Law will kill because he's right where he wants to be anyway, in the B gap. That's where he wants to be. That's where he crashes to, and that's why he always has trouble with contain because he crashes inside. And I used to hate it because, it's like, okay, you're giving up big yards on the outside. But when it comes to guys running in the middle, he eating that up, period. And when I watch what he did against the Lions with run through three guys and forcing fumbles, if you got those guys in the middle, Hankins rotating with Carlos Watkins and Bohanna at nose tackle, and then you have those guys rotating on the outside with the rotation on the outside of that nose tackle would be, or 3-4 defensive end would be D-Law. You can even use Sam Williams there because he did it in college, but I would use him on the outside mostly, but because of his explosiveness. But D-Law, Osa Odigizua, Chauncey Golston, and then if you want to kick Carlos Watkins out there every once in a while when we playing guys that we know are going to run heavy in the middle, you do that. You know what I mean? But that's what I think would change this defense drastically. And if there's one guy that you definitely want to go get, me personally, to change this defense right now, it is Bobby Wagner. I will go get Bobby Wagner. I don't think they're going to do it, but I would do that. So to your question, that's how I would handle the defense. And then, yes, I would go best player available, period, offense or defense. I think we just need a better coaching defensively, personally speaking, because we got talent there. But I would go best player available, but put an emphasis on trying to get a left guard or a left tackle, because I don't think you just cut Tyron Smith, but you do if you draft well. If you draft a left tackle and you like the guy going into training camp, you get yourself a good left tackle. You go ahead, you cut Tyron Smith, and you get him out here after the draft. That would make sense. But I wouldn't do it now to free up space. Wouldn't do it now. I would do it after the draft. Offensively, you definitely go get a running back, because even if you keep Zeke on a restructured deal and you keep Tony, you do want to have a three-headed monster with the way Brian Schottenheimer coaches. I wouldn't put Brian Schottenheimer, and I don't think they will, realistically speaking. I wouldn't put him under the gun by saying, come into a season as our offensive coordinator, we want to do better than Kellen Moore did, but we're going to give you none of the tools he had. We're going to get rid of TP because he cost too much money. We're going to get rid of Zeke, even though he was reliable, and we're going to go get you some rookies that you want, but a rookie, you know what I mean? And then if something happens to that rookie, you run it with some journeymen. I don't like that idea, because then we're going to judge Brian Schottenheimer and say he's trash. Why? Because you took away the weapons that Kellen Moore couldn't use correctly. You know what I'm saying? I think the West Coast offense helps Gallup, because Gallup doesn't have to run routes. Gallup, you can just put him on a drag route, get him the ball, let Gallup do what Gallup does. He throws some jump balls in the red zone, so on. You also will get a lot of one-on-ones because he runs the ball so much. If you look at Russell Wilson when he was at his best, they ran the ball a lot, forcing a lot of one-on-ones on the outside where he was able to exploit it, sometimes by buying extra time, but mostly by play action. So I think that's what you're gonna see. I think that's what I would do. I hope that answers your question, Davey. Here we go. Let's see. He said LVE too soft. Yeah, I agree with you. You're right. You ain't gonna do nothing, bro. Hey, yo, Davey. Hey, Davey, man. Stop that. I ain't know who you was talking. Stop all that bullshit, man. Yeah, stop that bullshit. Y'all stop that arguing in there, man. Yeah, stop it. Stop it. No friendly fight. I never seen no shit like that. Y'all go at each other more than y'all go at Eagles fans, man. It's crazy. Y'all gotta stop that shit. For real. If the Cowboys took Drew Sanders, I don't even know who Drew Sanders is, bro. What is Drew Sanders? A quarterback? What is he? I don't fucking know what he is. He got a quarterback name. Who is Drew Sanders? Let me Google him real quick since you asked the question. I don't want to be respectful to your question. I ain't gonna just dismiss it. Oh, you talking about that dude I know who Drew Sanders is. Oh my God. If Drew Sanders is on this team, he was a defensive end that they turned into a middle linebacker. I like Drew Sanders. I know who he is. I just didn't know his name. I'm not good with names, but I like Drew Sanders a lot. What would I do in the second round if we grabbed a Drew Sanders? I would go after a second round nose tackle like Ika or Mozzie Smith, and I'll look at the rest of the one tech nose tackles as well. But I would go after one of those guys in the second round, and then get me a good to average left guard in the third. I don't think offensive line is as deep this season though, so you might have to let Drew hang out there and grab yourself an offensive lineman with the way our offensive line looked this season, the way we were beat up. So that might wind up happening. Yeah. But when you say you looked at, I see what you're saying. THC me, you like to smoke, huh? But yeah, I see what you're saying when you say that you look to fill holes in free agency. But we don't really have a lot of holes. I don't think we have holes at linebacker. You got LV who did play better. His version of lights out in the playoffs. He played better in the playoffs. You got Clark, who I think will be better this season, a lot better. And I think Jabril Cox will actually have a breakout year. That's what I think. If he doesn't, he doesn't, but I think he will. So you don't got no holes there at linebacker. You can go get a Bobby Wagner, and that just makes you great at linebacker. But you also got to remember, Micah Parsons is still a linebacker too. So you don't got holes at linebacker. You don't really have holes at defensive end if you go and re-sign a Fowler. I like Fowler enough to resign. But you also got Sam Williams on the contract and D-Law. So you could do it that way if you want to do that at defensive end. You don't got holes there. You don't got holes in the interior because you got Osa and Chauncey along with Hankins and Carlos Watkins. I can start. That's a starting defensive line rotation. You definitely need some depth there. You don't have holes at corner because, again, I like what Izzy Makamu gave me in the playoffs. That is a lot better than what people give him credit for. He's 6'4", 215, and can run with shifty guys. J-Rock can't do that. He's the same size, but he can't guard no Godwin or Goodwin or whatever his name is. He can't guard him. Mukamu was guarding him. I like what Mukamu gave me. And then I love what Bland gave me. So if you wanted to say our starting corners are Mukamu or Jordan Lewis at the nickel with a Bland on the outside with Diggs, not mad there. If you say Wilson and Hooker again, not mad there. So there's no holes defensively. You could get better at positions, but there's no holes. Offensively, if you kept Tyron, you kept Tyler at left guard, you keep Beatis at center, got Zach Martin at the right tackle, and got Still back. That's a starting five in this league that I think would be quite good. And you re-sign a McGovern to be a swing guard or a fullback / extra lineman because they use an extra lineman in Solari's scheme, his run scheme. That's a good offensive line. You got your quarterback. You got your backup in Cooper Rush. Running back wise, if you kept Zeke or cut Zeke, if you kept Zeke, you could say there's a hole there because you're going to draft a running back. But I think no matter what we do, that is something we're going to address as running back anyway. If you say a hole as far as wide receiver goes, I think Gallup will be better this season. I think CeeDee Lamb will be used properly this season. And I think there's no doubt about it that what's the kid's name from last year who's lined up off sides at wide receiver? You know what I'm talking about. What the fuck is his name? I always forget names, man, but I did a breakdown on him too. I don't remember his name though. But you know that kid. He's going to be better this season because he got no choice. He was trash last year. So he ain't got no choice but to give you what you thought he was last year, which I think will happen as well. So even at receiver, do you have a hole? You can use another receiver. Yeah, but still no hole. Tight end, you don't have no holes there. If you get rid of Schultz, you got Ferguson and you got Hendershot. I like both of them. And then you keep McKeon as that third guy. I like my tight end room there. So the only iffy thing because of injuries is running back. And I think we're going to draft a running back anyway. So I don't think you address anything in free agency except for what you want to address. You don't have to do it. You know what I'm saying? You don't have to do it. We don't have to force anything in the draft as it stands because we keeping those guys in place right now. And then after the draft, we can make decisions on those guys. Yep. But good question, though. Sign Wagner as the answer for Warner on the 49ers. Then let Micah roam between end and linebacker. That's what I would do too, Aces. Will we do it is the question. I think, honestly, though, if you sign to Wagner, you're sealing Micah's fate at defensive end. I don't think you get Wagner and they have a rotation with Micah, Wagner, Clark, and Cox in the middle of the field, and LV. Won't happen. If you get a Wagner, you're getting him because you're trying to do what you tried to do with Barr, which is say, we want a guy that can play middle linebacker so well that Micah can stay put. We didn't have that with Barr because Barr is a little bit older and a little bit less than what we thought he was left in the tank. But you probably do get that out of Wagner. So if you get Wagner here, Parsons won't be a linebacker ever again, in my opinion. You might see him there for some spot work just to blitz out of there. But to me personally, you holding Parsons back by making him play defensive end because Parsons is so much better than a defensive end. Because if you blitz him from the A gap, a center can't block Parsons. He can't, especially if Parsons got a nose tackle and you blitzing. He got a good nose tackle in front of him. A center can't deal with Parsons. If you keep bodies off of him, a running backs can't run away from Parsons. And Parsons can cover a tight end by himself. He can cover a wide receiver by his damn self. Wouldn't have no problem with him doing it. So I think you only get a little bit of his game using him as solely defensive end. Now, whereas he got way more game to him than that, and I think he can be a player that changes the way the middle linebacker or the way defenses play. Period. Because he's a guy like your Andrew or Drew Stanton, who you can play at middle linebacker, who can do that well, who also can play defensive end. You're going to start seeing a lot more of those guys, but I think Parsons should only be defensive end and spot work to save his body. He got beat up a lot last year that people didn't pay attention to, and that's because he was playing at defensive end. And I think he actually would have got better stats if he played middle linebacker. He would have got more sacks because the times where he's playing defensive end and he was, lined up out there, cool. But he would have got more sacks from the middle of the field because a running back trying to pick up Micah Parsons is insane. If you say, hey, pick up Micah Parsons running full speed ahead, yeah, dead man. Get him out of here. You know what I'm saying? So, I don't know. That's just how I feel. According to me, if Dallas trades for Steven Diggs, you eat shit on live. Now Davey talking like a dickhead. You talking like you want to take a trip to Philadelphia and come to the gym. Let me slap you up. Stop talking that dumb shit. You mean eat crow or you mean eat shit? Because I don't eat shit, Playboy. What you talking about? Stop, you getting beat up in the chest and now you trying to come for me, man. I thought we was friends, Davey. Now you talking disrespectful, man. Don't do that. I would like to remain your friend. Yes, Okoye, my point exactly. Sabotaging the offensive coordinator. Is that what you mean, WCO? From the get-go. Yeah, I think you mean oh, you mean West Coast offense. I got you. Offensive coordinator, same thing. All right. He said, unless that rookie is Marshall Falk, uh, what we talking about? Facts. Let's see. What else we got? All right. All right. I think I got most of y'all, man. Got most of y'all. Let's see. He said due to Donta Foreman is a free agent. He only has 433 rushing attempts with 1,900 yards, and he was only signed for 1 year, 980. Why did we want him? What are we talking about? Why I want him for? For what? Nah, I'm okay. Trip Aces said he out. He said shit and crow is interchangeable. I never knew that. I thought crow was just a bird. Shit is shit. That's totally crazy. Eating shit though, I get y'all skateboarders say eat shit. I ate shit when you fell on your face or something like that. But I don't know. I'm an old head, man. We don't talk like that. You know what I'm saying? But crow is cool. I can live with that. Dude is a liability in the run game at defensive end. Micah Parsons, exactly. I think Micah Parsons is better in the middle of the field. Yep. You said Foreman had a great season. I don't care. So did TP. Why I want Foreman? I wouldn't go spend extra money. If I'm gonna go spend some money at running back, I'm not gonna go get a run. I'm not gonna go do no free agency shit. I'm going, go ahead and lock up TP and call it a day. Okoye, appreciate the content, brother. Keep up the heat. Appreciate you, to you. Appreciate you. Yo, I'm out, but I've been on here for almost hour and a half. So, I mean, the replay gonna be good, but I'm gonna chop this up and throw some of this stuff on Twitter, and we call it a day. But and I also will finish the film that y'all just got back, backstage pass to. I'll finish up that running back film, do a voiceover for it, and then and toss it up there, man. But peace. Talk to y'all soon. Remember, man, like at the end of the day, we do this not only for the love of football, but I love the fans. I love what y'all do, man. Y'all definitely make it so that sitting here for an hour and a half is a lot less boring. Because if I just was chopping up the film right now, I probably would have stopped by now, watched some TV, took a break, and did some other shit. So yeah, I appreciate y'all, man. Love what I do. Davey, I already know, bro. I know you ain't mean no harm. I was talking my shit right back to you, bro. But yeah, stop going at each other like that. Y'all need to stop that. Because for real, I want a day. That's why I be wanting a Super Bowl or a divisional round win, so that Cowboys fans can one day stop fighting each other and start like having some fucking fun. This is the most least fun fan base for me, anyway, because I'm not in Dallas. Y'all forget that. I'm surrounded by Eagles fans. And I argue with less of them. Like more Eagles fans who know me because they know me. They watch me because they're like, damn, we wish we had somebody who would do what you do for the Eagles. They don't got one. They got Lord Brunson, who is my man. He good. But he don't do what I do. You know what I mean? So they like, we don't got nobody to really break shit down for the Eagles. We wish we had one. And I do more arguing with Cowboys fans than anything else, man. So that's like crazy shit to me. So can't wait till we win. I think this season is definitely gonna be better than the last because I ain't got no choice but to be, bro. But I'm out of here and I will jump on live and fuck with y'all again tomorrow, man. Make sure you hit the like button, share it, subscribe if you haven't. Do all that good stuff and subscribe to those other guys out there who putting it all on wax too, man. Love y'all. Peace. Yo, Mr. Wright, I already know, man. Yeah, it is what it is. I just don't like when y'all go at each other like that, man. Damian Harris, free agency. I'm gonna give you your shine, Coach Marv, because you jumped on. Damian Harris, free agent running back. What you think? I don't really know him. I gotta look at his film. I know his name, just don't know him. You know what I mean? But I'll look at his film to be fair to you, and I'll answer your question in the next live because you always on here, Coach Marv. Appreciate the love. Dave said he started it. Hey man, it is what it is. Y'all good, man. Y'all grown men. Just stop going at each other. Let's go at the opposition. Eastside Harold come in here and be fine. He be rolling through here talking shit. Don't nobody even bother Eastside Harold. We argue with each other. That sounds crazy. We like a dysfunctional family. You know what I'm saying? Nobody wins when the family feuds. Peace.